Really proud of our team to go on the road. It was a really big deal for us to improve as a road team, particularly in conference. We hadn't fared well over the last couple of years. We've been getting closer. You know, the margins of victory were getting tighter, and we were able to get a couple of wins last year, but this being a conference game #1, the reputation of Stanford as a physical football team, we know is going to be a tough and physical game up front. And just proud of the team all around. Great team win. Tremendous effort by the defense. Obviously, the statistic of holding teams from getting the end zone for 3 straight games is something else. But obviously, lots of good stuff and lots of stuff to work on as well. But that being said, open questions.
Please raise your hand for questions. We'll start with Tyson on your right here, Coach.
You obviously weren't a part of the program during these days, but you know, like 6, 7, 8 years ago, we're going to have to put 40, 50 points on the board to kind of win these games. You guys haven't allowed a touchdown in 3 straight weeks. What's this kind of a road win say about kind of the identity of this program?
Physicality has been a big point of emphasis. You know, when you go on the road, it's sometimes it's a little bit ugly, but you never want to apologize for winning on the road because it's tough, especially in conference. So identity-wise, we want to be physical, we want to be tough, we want to finish games, and we have been making ground towards that. And sometimes we finished, and sometimes we didn't. Certainly, this was a game we didn't finish last year. That was heavy on their minds, and they want to finish this one the right way, and they did.
Is that what you were thinking about when you were running off the field there towards the fans?
Which part?
Just the fact that you finished like that?
No, to me, I was just grateful that, you know, when they got down there and when they ended up kicking a field goal, I just realized how loud they were. I thought they were incredible. The support of our fans, the numbers that showed up, it was, to our players, that was a big deal. And that's why they ran down there to greet them and to thank them. I went down because I was stuck doing some media stuff in the middle of the field, and I didn't want to leave without thanking them. So that was a great show by them.
To your left, Coach, along the wall, Ryan.
Mario, both quarterbacks were under duress tonight. What are your initial thoughts on the way Justin handled that with his passing numbers and the way your defense got after Cristobal?
Yeah, well, they stacked the box pretty good. They got us on a couple stunts. They got our tight end on one of our play action shots down the field as well, around the edge really tight. And Justin was not able to step up. Another time they got us on a twist, and then one time just really rounded the horn. I think it was a 3-man game. And there were some pressure plays as well. We had to move around. So that being said, some of that caused issues, but at the same time opened up some things in the passing game. Double-edged pressure certainly is tough to run the ball against, and we had our issues, and we had some better moments at times. But overall, just too inconsistent in the run game. But it does open up stuff in the quick game and the screen game and some of the RPOs and some of the down the field shots. So there's a give and a take there, and luckily, you know, we got more than it was taken from us. So, and then our guys on them, I don't know how many pressures we had or how many sacks we had, but I know someone could give me that. 5 sacks. Thank you. Just thought that not only our straight rush, but our twists and our stunts, our disguise coverages, you know, just switching the leverages of some of our back end guys really affected the quarterback. And it's something that, again, great job by our defense.
To your right, James.
You mentioned the run game, Mario. On one hand, CJ is about 3.5-ish yards per carry, but obviously the loss is coming to sacks.
Yeah.
What do you take from the run game? Because it wasn't just that, the sacks also where, whether it was Bay or whether it was Brady, but there were missed assignments there. The run game probably wasn't as successful as you were hoping for.
Yeah, it's certainly not up to par, not up to our standard. We did a lot of open edge running today, and you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You could find some big, wide open looks, or you could get yourself edge pressure and thinned out real quickly. And we probably got into that more than we should have. And but that being said, I think from an assignment standpoint, on the right guys, just not. We got to do a better job. I got to do a better job coaching those guys so the program perform better.
Second row to your left, Eric.
You rotated the backs all non-conference play, but 24 of 25 carries tonight went to CJ's. Is that kind of how you foresee things going in the future, or kind of what was the situation?
Oh, you know, I think we'll just play guys as we see fit. You know, guys that had a good week of practice, guys that we feel it's a physical game. He's a more physical guy. Cyrus was certainly banged up. We have complete confidence in Travis, so there's nothing to read into that as well. Travis definitely deserves to play more. We'll get him in there.
First row to the left.
2 touchdowns for Breland. Herbert seemed to find him lately playing pretty well with him.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of them, you know, he was wide open. The other one was a contested catch. And Jake's a really good athlete. Went up and got it. He certainly has proven himself to be a real good playmaker for us, and he's really proven himself to be a good run blocker as well. So he's a guy that's got to stay in the game, and we got to continue to get him more touches.
Straight ahead, all the way in the back.
Coach, You ran the ball 30 times and passed it 24. But were you a little conservative in this game today, or would you like to throw the ball more given the quarterback you have?
We'd like to get as many points on the board as possible, however we can get that, so whatever is called, and sometimes, these are throw run options, and the look, the leverage, the number, the box count will determine where the ball goes, so sometimes those numbers do get skewed. If I could guarantee 80 points by throwing the ball more, would, and the vice versa, but we're just trying to move the ball, score points, and be effective on offense.
Matt, just straight back, coach.
What do you make of, we got 3 seniors, Gus, Bryson, and Drayton, that seem to just get better and better each week. Today, they seem to just really make a lot of impact. What do you make of those guys?
A lot of pride, a lot of toughness. Those guys they get after it during the course of the week. This week they really stepped up as vocal leaders as well, which was great to see, and they made a difference. It's one thing when a coach talks, but when that locker room starts taking over and takes ownership, it's a different animal, and they did. All those guys, Jordan, I thought Jordan was awesome, and what he did. Troy Dye was spectacular, and what he did also as a leader and as a performer. So just awesome to watch those guys play at such a high level.
To your right, coach, along the wall.
You mentioned the touchdown streak. Do you guys talk about that, and what did you learn about the defensive end?
We really don't. I think once you start talking about it, focusing on it, you start forgetting about what actually gets you to that. So they're just focusing on each play at a time. It's like finish that play and then on to the next one, and it works for them. Just the detail of communication, the detail of alignment assignment is really just improving week in and week out. And we're playing a lot of young guys now too. And we had a few guys banged up the last couple of weeks. Bryson Young had been out. Austin Faliu had been out for a little bit as well. Thomas Graham went down last week. All those guys got healthy. They went in there and they played a really good game.
Third row, Tyson.
On that first touchdown, Breland had the back shoulder catch and throw. Just what did you see on that play? And is that something where on the sidelines you go, did you guys think that was as impressive looking as it looked on the
It looked pretty impressive, yeah. It was certainly, sometimes you have a matchup that you like, and I know that Justin, besides him wanting to be aggressive, he's got the green light to be aggressive, and when he sees something that he likes from a matchup standpoint, whether it be man coverage, whether it be a soft zone and some space and green grass in there, he's going to take it. He saw it, he liked it, took it, and converted.
To your right, James.
Are a couple of things hidden in the box score, but Blake, until the final touchdown, might have actually been the most important player in the game. All 5 of his punts at that point were inside the 20, a couple for 50-plus yards. And then you took Parkinson out of this game entirely. He beat you last year. Their other tight end obviously beat you last year. How were you able to take a 6'7" tight end and completely out of the game?
Well, the first thing with Blake has been, for the most part, really consistent all year. He flipped the field for us, like you said, extremely effective and just, hitting yardage, right? They say every 80 yards of hitting yardage is like having an extra 6-7 points. He did that for us today. He made it difficult for them to sustain drives that demanded 10, 12 plays in a row of execution. So really valuable guy playing at a high level. And then you had another question.
Eliminating Parkinson, just taking him completely out.
Well, that guy's a great player. I don't know if you ever eliminated him completely, but the way that Javon and Thomas, Diamador, they all had their turns at him, every single guy, and they know that he's a spectacular player. That guy's going to play a long, long time, but his range and his physicality is what makes him really effective. Our guys were just as physical. They got up there, they pressed him, they got hands on him, they ran with him, they contested those balls and got up there and were able to deflect them, and I can't say enough. I can't wait to watch the tape to actually grade the technicality, the fundamentals used, and the success rate of our defensive backfield on their tight end.
Got time for 3 more. First row to the left.
Coach, another strong game with the connection from Herbert to Breland. These are guys that have been together for 3 years now. How do you think that's helped them going into their senior years now? It seems like they're finally clicking.
A lot of trust, and I think a couple of things have happened. Number one, you got to give credit to Coach Arroyo. He's found a way to use the tight end a lot more in the offense this year than we did last year. Number two, in the absence of some of our wide receivers due to injury, you just have to keep finding ways to get the ball out and make explosive plays. And aside from that, just credit to Jake Breland. A lot of credit to him. He's determined to be an excellent football player. He's worked at it, and he's been extremely productive. And listening to him open up and lead in that locker room was another step for him and for our football team. So really fired up about him.
To your left along the wall.
Coach, congrats again on the win. What's your biggest takeaway after today's game, heading into a game against the undefeated Cal team?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've watched them a little bit and saw them on TV again today. This excellent football team playing at a high level. what I take away from our team is today was a big goal for us. You know, we felt that that we could be a really good road team, and we took a step in that direction today. We certainly improved in the way that we perform on the road. We're getting more physical. There's some things, obviously, the run game we got to get better at. That showed up today a little bit. We should get a couple guys back from injury, and that's okay, and that's exciting. But I'm just as excited about the guys that have stepped up in the absence of the guys that were injured, because those guys deserve a lot of credit as well. I look forward to the competitiveness of this week of our football team. I'm excited to see them approach this week and get after each other. I'm excited to see them get involved in the community this week, since we have some extra time, and have them go out and, you know, give back to a community that supports us so well. So there's a lot of things to be excited about, and I'm excited to get on that plane. Those guys are pretty happy in that locker room. You know, they threw a lot of water on me in there. So
That's the one. Matt, straight ahead.
I feel like your team's been able to get over a tough loss. Auburn was a tough loss. A lot of your guys this week and last week said that they were able to put that away pretty quickly and go into the next big game like this one and
yeah,
play pretty clean.
no, that's a great question. I think, you know, we walk in that locker room in Dallas, and yeah, we were heartbroken. I mean, call it what it is. I mean, you have a chance to win a game in a couple different ways, right? You don't. But the one thing that really stood out from that loss as opposed to a year ago is that there was an overwhelming feeling and conversation of our guys where they all said and felt we can be a really good football team. We have the pieces, you know, we have the makeup, we have the DNA. We got to put it together and let actions speak louder than words.
Like I said, that they're having more fun. Do you see that compared to last year?
Well, they're having fun now. They're having fun, but they're having fun. They're having fun because they're executing at a high. That's part of it. You know, they're having fun with their approach, their intensity, but they're having fun because they're having a lot of success. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.